Effective immediately. Your license to kill is revoked.
Hello and welcome to Kill James Bond. I am Alice Caldwell-Kelly. Joining me, Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hello.
That is right.
To talk about number 2 of 2. How little we knew ye, Welsh James Bond. Our last...
What if a James Bond was Welsh?
Our last Dalton license to kill.
Final Dalt.
the final Dalt, yes.
It's the final Dalton. Why this is the last Dalton is because this movie was such a flop that they just didn't make any more for 6 years.
Yeah, incredible. I think that the scriptwriter, the longtime scriptwriter died, and then there was a kind of production coup, and luckily that was the last time there was a long hiatus in the Bond franchise.
Yeah. Fortunately, that has not happened again. But this film is also quite unique. You couldn't really do a sequel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's despite being something that acknowledges its place in Bond continuity and incidentally blows the James Bond as a codename shit out of the water. It's not a Bond film.
Yeah, it does. I have to acknowledge that I am owned. This man is the same guy as George Lazenby.
Yes.
He was the same guy as Sean Connery.
That's right.
Yeah, this man went to space.
Yes. After he went to space, he did the events of this movie.
That's right.
But none of the events of this movie really have anything to do with him being James Bond.
They very much just made a movie and called the guy James Bond. Yeah, this wasn't a Bond film, which is why I loved the fuck out of it.
It's just a sort of generic 80s action movie. It's McBain from The Simpsons. But...
And the way you can tell this is that we do have a Q gadget scene later in the film, but he doesn't even use half of them.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, this is the most that Desmond Llewellyn had to do in a Bond film. He also later remarked that this was the first time he'd ever made any real money. Not underappreciated. I have a good night cross person. Also, we are at the sort of the tail end of the Cold War here.
Yes.
The Soviets aren't really the world's main enemy to the Western imagination.
Other stuff for Bond to do. Yes.
What happened was Albert Broccoli whipped open a newspaper and went, "Hey, this guy Pablo Escobar's making a lot of headlines right now."
He actually didn't. Do you want to know what the original plan for this movie was?
Yes, and I know it as well. But let's fucking go.
They wanted to do it filming in China about Golden Triangle drug lords. And one of the things that they wanted to do was a motorcycle chase along the Great Wall of China.
Yep. They also wanted to do a
didn't
fight.
They then do that in a later Bond film?
I don't think so.
I know they do it. No, they do it in No Time to Die.
What?
I think.
Fuck off! No, this is why. This is why you have to purge the revisionists, because otherwise, socialism with Chinese characteristics will get diluted to the point where a British sex offender can drive a motorcycle along your, most precious piece of cultural heritage.
They also wanted to do a fight in the recently unearthed terracotta soldiers. Location in Xi'an.
I'm just picturing fucking Roger Moore Bond, barely catching a terracotta soldier that's about to fall over and making the fucking Roger Moore face.
The Chinese government,
that would have been fun.
Quoting here from production staff, issued restrictive demands such as a veto ability.
Hell yeah!
The Chinese government wanted to be no, that's ridiculous.
We're gonna get you back for the one Chinese man you blew up in Dr. No all those years ago.
And the guy who got with the space laser.
And the guy who got with the space laser. So
they threw their hands up and went, "Fuck it, Florida.
Fuck it. We're doing Latin American drug lords." And so we begin with our little sort of opening vignette, which is Felix Leiter, Bond's best friend, who
Actually, not even that. I have a note from even earlier, which is they start with a threatening version of the Bond theme.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like during the classic gun barrel opening, it's a little bit more like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
there's a couple of variations of the Bond theme in this film. One of which is Bond theme brackets Latin American, which is
yeah, it's great. So Bond,
kind of Bond, but like with a bit of a hip motion, you know.
Yeah. So Bond's friend Felix Leiter, who is the same guy he's been for like 6 different people.
Yeah, he was in Crab Key for Dr. No with him.
Yeah, is getting married in Florida
to a woman. Bullshit.
On you, anything looks good.
Bullshit.
This one is straight.
Yes.
There have been gay Felix Leiters. I think he went through a little bit of a phase at one point, but he's marrying a woman now.
Felix Leiter, heteroflexible king, is getting married. And Bond, who is, I guess, Felix's best man, Felix,
nice.
And their friend Sharky, who we're supposed to act as if we have been introduced to before.
Some motherfucker. He's wearing a bright red shirt.
Sharky is like wearing a red shirt, yeah.
It's genuinely like that shit where I'm like Enterprise and it's like, all right, quick, Doc, fuck is Spock, and Sharky, you head on down to the planet.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Bad news for Sharky. But a helicopter, a Coast Guard helicopter, lands in front of the wedding car, and they are urgently called away to a DEA drug bust because the drug trafficker Sanchez has finally left his home and is available to be arrested as he's at like a small airfield. What he's doing, it turns out, is being extremely possessive of his girlfriend, who is cheating on him. Mm-hmm. His girlfriend, Lupe Lamora, the hottest Bond girl, not taking questions at this time.
Incorrect.
It's I'm not incorrect.
Unfortunately, that is 2-1.
And also, there's several things that
I respect the referendum.
There's several things that happen here. First of all, he has the guy who is cucking him killed. But
he has him killed in a weird way.
Yeah, how does he have him killed?
Well, he says to Lupe, what did he promise you? His heart? And then he turns to his man and goes, bring her his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Sanchez is Robert Davi, who is an incredible actor, whom they kind of ruin in this movie by every time he's on screen, they play a faint little like Latin guitar riff over him.
Yeah.
So like Sanchez steps in the room and...
okay, I want to argue with you that I think that's cool as fuck. They definitely do it, but I think it's good.
It's cool, but it's also a little bit racist.
I think he's one of my favorite Bond villains. Of all the Bond villains that we see, he has the most emotional range, because we see him like when he's angry, when he's like sad, when he's like happy and joking, and like we see him when he's at home and just chilling. Like, I really like that we get to see so much of Sanchez.
He's really good.
He brutally whips Lupe, which made me feel strange when I was a kid watching this. And then the DEA arrive, and he immediately books it and like uses his dudes and Lupe as a distraction so he can try and get away in a small Cessna.
Yep.
And James Bond. Jimmy Bond.
No jurisdiction over the current
none. Wearing morning dress.
He is, yeah.
Does the Bane move of like suspending the helicopter with a cable suspending the plane with a cable from the Coast Guard helicopter?
Mm-hmm. They catch up with the plane and then they hook it and then literally catch the plane from the tail.
Perhaps he's wondering why you'd shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. So they arrest Sanchez thusly, and then
skydive into Felix's wedding, which, to be fair, pretty cool.
Yeah.
2 major thoughts regarding them skydiving and parachuting into Felix's wedding. First of all was, all my notes say, and this is hard to say anything to this, but dudes rock. And the second is, do you remember in which fucking mall was it where he fucking pulls out like a massive Union Jack parachute.
Oh yeah, right at the beginning. It might have been.
It was the do-do-do-wav. It was
just after
but James, I need Spy Who Loved Me.
Might be. Yeah, Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah, need this, but where fucking Dalton pulls out a massive Welsh flag parachute. Just like
He's so Welsh in this movie. He's like not even bothering to hide it.
Oh yeah.
I heard it's your wedding now, Felix. Have you heard of this terrible drug dealer? I'm going to arrest him now. I'm coming with you, don't you know? It's so good.
Alice did a fucking incredible tweet, which has been on the account by the time you listen to this, which is just fucking Alec Trevelyan. For England, James? James Bond, still Dalton. No, for Wales.
I've been
so
obsessing about Welsh James Bond ever since I saw this movie. Just fucking,
so good.
Yeah. He's gonna fucking bust McKinleth Blofeld. Like, I love the idea that, like, not just 007 is Welsh, but, like, Welsh independence has happened, right? There is a Welsh MI6, and their finest agent is Timothy Dalton, James Bond 007. Just, yeah, an entirely sort of, like, Welsh worldview
like
Bond.
When Wexit happens, and like the Welsh Secret Service get the trademarks to MI6.
Yeah. What I'm saying is,
so they get Bond.
What I'm saying is that, like, Amazon shouldn't have the rights to Bond. BBC Cymru should have the rights to Bond, and the exclusive rights.
It's literally like there's no difference at all, but everything he's got instead of the fucking Union Jack is a little Yudurgo.
Yeah.
It just got a little fucking Welsh
little
dragon.
Submarine pops the hatch and it's got a Welsh flag on there. Just perfect.
A little dragon on it?
Oh, incredible.
I love Welsh Bond.
Yeah. So,
and this is his last appearance, unfortunately.
Welsh Bond. Welsh James Bond. Buy the toys. Welsh James Bond.
So Bond,
then we get a title sequence. The song is a banger.
Oh, I don't know. I found it mediocre.
I
found that it really overstayed its welcome, is the thing.
It is the longest one.
The song mediocre or the title sequence?
Kind of
the title
sequence is weird. It's like a lot of women explicitly topless, like nips out, just kind of like, listeners, I'm sort of like flailing my arms like I'm trying to do like a high school dance show. It's like a lot of people like twirling in a not very impressive way.
The comment is that this is the intro which would most benefit from what happened in the Dr. No one, where it just suddenly hard cuts into samba.
Ooh, that's true.
Yes, good point.
But
so remember the Dr. No intro?
Yeah. So usually the vignette would not be related to the movie, but instead now we're just doing it as a kind of a prologue. And we cut to Sanchez has been arrested by the DEA and they're interrogating him. And
remember the heady days where Bond would spend 10 minutes murdering a disabled man in a helicopter?
This just had nothing to do with it.
Murdering a disabled Welsh man with a helicopter in the center of Cardiff. Yes. So Sanchez is like playing it quite cool. He's being interrogated by a kind of like foghorn leghorn voiced guy whose character name is literally Ed Kilifer. Which at this point I wrote down, I wonder if he's nice. I wonder if he's going to be like a cool guy.
My name is Ed Kilifer. Come on.
I feel like you probably
there's a name to die for.
You probably shouldn't be able to fail a background check just based on name alone. But
you sign up and they're like,
there's a lot of Muslim people who have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So Sanchez offers frankly, by today's standards, absurdly low bribe of $2 million American in cash to anybody.
2 fish windows for that.
Yeah. To anybody who like busts him out of prison. And okay, neither of them seem to go for it. The DEA are not interested. He's under a lot of like heavy guard or whatever.
Ed Kilifer in particular responds with absolute hatred towards the concept.
Yes. And we cut back to the wedding reception. And
where fucking Felix Leiter's wife is like, Bond, remember the tradition of
me kissing
the best man.
Yes. It's very strange.
like
their interactions are like, well, first of all, like Bond cucking his best friend at his best friend's wedding. would actually be an interesting plot, right? But they can't do that because that would be too interesting. So instead, they have to try and convey that Bond fucks, but fucks in a way that's respectful. And so they have no idea how to convey that other than he has a chaste mouth kiss with the bride in her wedding dress with her husband not present.
I think they should have just done it if she and Bond were old flames. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
They used to be together, and then it's like,
Yeah,
that
but
would have been quite nice. But
no,
instead we get this, slightly weird vibe.
Well, like
hitting on him.
After in a slightly later scene, to jump ahead a bit, both she and her husband Felix give Bond a wedding gift. They give him an engraved cigarette lighter because pun lighter.
Yeah, the Felix lighter.
Yeah, they give him the Felix lighter. Yes, but like the vibe that they have, the way this is directed, is such that it's kind of like they and Bond are like in a polycule.
It really is just like,
and now they're married. Bond's not in Bond comedy.
Yeah, it's kind of like Felix likes to watch Bond fuck his wife or something. No,
it's the other way around.
Okay, yeah.
Bond likes to watch.
Yeah, I can see that. That actually makes a lot more sense than the other way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So while Felix is supposed to be getting married, he is working in his study on his computer.
He's online. He's on the computer. She tells Bond, go and find Felix. We need to cut the cake. And she's like holding the cake knife as she says this. And Bond has this weird line where he says, "I'll do anything for a woman with a knife." Fucking weird thing to say, man.
Into knife play.
And James goes in and fucking Felix is on his computer and James is like, "Mate, you're getting married right now." And Felix is like, "Bond, it's online. I can't pause it." Bond. Mom, no!
we see Felix take a mini disc out of the horse computer that Max Zorin used to sell Bond a horse, and put it in a picture of his wife, like a framed picture.
I find the computer to be indispensable.
Wow. So. So Felix finally agrees to stop using his horse computer and go and get married, right?
Felix finally agrees to go and get married to his wife.
Finally logs off.
Yes.
He skydives in and is just like, hold up, I got a post.
Opposite choice to Graham Linehan. Instead, he logs off and stays with his wife.
That's right.
The way you're supposed to do it.
That's right. So. Yeah, they give Bond the Felix lighter, and across town, Sanchez is being transferred on a prison convoy. But as they drive onto one of these sort of the long bridges in Florida and in the Keys.
In the Florida Keys.
Ed Kilifer seizes the wheel of the prison van and yeets it off the bridge into the water below, where divers help him and Sanchez escape. They also they have a sort of underwater sub that I assume that they got at Largo's estate sale.
Yeah. I mean, they must have organized this very quickly because this is the same day he was arrested.
Yeah. I guess you have to figure a lot of underwater villain shit just went on the market after Bond, who is the same guy.
Oh, almost certainly.
Blew up the Disco Volante 2 times. So
yes.
Yeah.
Especially after the second one.
Mm-hmm. So Sanchez escapes in an underwater style fashion. And we cut back to Felix carrying his bride over the threshold, only to find that lying in wait are Sanchez's men, and they're captured.
Oh, well, first of all, we have a moment where Bond leaves the wedding at night, and she
after having had sex with
bride. For the last time. Apparently, there's a tradition of the bride giving the best man her garter.
Oh yeah, this was fucking weird too. Yeah,
I think
that goes around the
she fucking hikes her wedding dress all the way up and gives Bond her garter because she's like, oh, the person who catches this, I don't know why that instead of a bouquet, will get married.
I feel like
next.
it's supposed to be the bouquet, but
but Bond is like, yeah, thanks, and leaves, right? And Lysa goes,
No, he says no. He says no. He refuses it.
yeah.
And she's like, oh, I said something wrong. And he's like, yeah, see you. Good night.
Yeah. And then as he leaves, Felix Lysis says, James Bond isn't a code name. That's the same man. He was a sea captain in World
He
War
looks
II.
directly at the fucking camera and he goes, no, Abigail.
Yeah.
This man is the same man. Remember when he was Australian and he got married and his wife was killed on their wedding day? Hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
anyway.
by Blofeld, who he killed by dumping into a smokestack.
When he was Roger Moore, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
No, well, Felix actually just says like, oh, he was married once, and that's the line.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's continuity. Anyway, Bond leaves. Felix and his wife Della get captured. And Felix is like,
she doesn't get captured. She gets fucking iced.
oh yeah, like Felix is like, leave her, it's me you want. So they just whack him with a pistol. And they take him to like I don't even know what this place is supposed to be, fish repository.
Yeah, I think it's just a fish location.
Fish lab.
Yeah. Fish lab.
They take him to the fish lab where Sanchez is waiting. And Sanchez tells him it's not business. I mean, it's not personal that I'm murdering you, but also it is business, but also I am going to have you maimed now.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not even murdering you. I'm going to fuck with you.
Yeah, he has him like fed to sharks, but only a bit. He has the sharks like
very realistically.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
The scene is like they lower him legs first into the shark tank where he's like his legs are like bitten apart by sharks. It's like very, very gritty and realistic. This whole film like has lost that kind of slightly fantasy-ish vibe. Like he's bloodily mutilated by these sharks.
Yeah, it's not camp anymore.
Yes, well observed.
And I mean, Kiki Camarena
here.
Yeah, there's Ed Killifer for one thing, and there's
who has a massive suitcase full of money.
He does. But there's two other people that we need to know. One is this older guy with a mustache called Mr. Crest.
Milton Crest, yes.
Sanchez is like right-hand man.
He owns this fishery.
Yeah. The second guy is Benicio del Toro, brackets Twink.
Yeah. He's really outrageously young.
So hot.
He's literally the youngest
one gold tooth.
that a Bond villain has ever been. He was 21 at the time of this casting. And let me say, 21-year-old Benicio del Toro, my DMs are open.
Good lord. Good lord. Well, I'm just hanging out over here in like Kinsey 6 land, but go off, I guess.
Well, I mean, what does it go up to?
I don't remember. Anyway,
what's the maximum Kinsey? Where are we at?
I don't even like thinking about men unless it's in a business context.
Wait, I think it might actually go up to 007, you know. I'm whatever the one is, like one below full lesbian.
So anyway,
I'm bisexual and have been.
So
which is good.
So the shark pops up like who want they Lucy ate, and Felix is like, OMG me. Gets horrifically maimed.
Get out.
I'm not even justifying it with a response. And so Bond is attempting to get on the plane to leave, and then the fucking lass who's booking it's like, yeah, some sort of big drug cartel guy just escaped, and Bond immediately books it back to Felix's house.
Back home to Felix's house.
Where he finds Della extremely dead Felix's wife.
Yeah, dead.
Yeah.
And Felix is
implied
just like
raped, but
maimed.
not actually shown, which is progress for the Bond movies, I guess. But like Benicio del Toro alludes to having assaulted Felix's wife to him.
To some sort of reference to a honeymoon, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Felix is there. His legs are not.
Yes. He's like, they've put him in a body bag, and I presume like tourniquet up his like leg and his arm. And they've left a sarcastic note with him, which is he disagreed with something that ate him. Just to do a little bit of posting, a little frisson of irony. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of like,
and Bond wants to commit crimes.
Yeah, it's like
Bond is
I'm
like,
just,
it's time to go.
Yeah,
McBain.
like this is like ripped from the headline stuff, right? Like Kiki
Yeah,
Camarena, the DEA agent whose death spurred like Operation Leyenda and like ultimately the like Mexican civil war against the cartels. He was murdered like 4 years before this came out, right? So this is like sort of in the public imagination as like
Sharks or
well, no, by like the Mexican deep state, but you know, metaphorically sharks. You gotta juice things up a bit for films.
Yeah.
So Bond, like, fuck, what does Bond do? He calls an ambulance for him, but he's like, okay, I must do an 80s style roaring rampage of revenge. He becomes punished Bond.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, because he tells like Felix, he tells Kilifer's partner, he's like, look, we got to hunt down the guys that did this, and Kilifer's partner's like, yeah, man, we'll do it. Like we're cops, we'll do our job. Just like go home and leave it. Like this isn't your jurisdiction, it's not your department. And Bond's like, well, I've got to do something about this. You know, you can't just let them go. You can't just let them go back to South America.
He delivers
That's how we do things down in Wales.
A fantastic line, a fantastic 80s action movie line, just perfect little amuse-bouche, because one of the things that they've established early about Sanchez is that within Latin America, sure, he is the law, right? He controls presidents and banks and stuff. And so when they try to like brush him off, Bond says,
looks like Sanchez Lord operates north of the border too. Let's go shark hunting.
And he's like, he grabs Sharky and he's like, let's go shark hunting. My friend Sharky.
I think it's fucked up to have a guy called Sharky investigating Felix.
Survive.
Yeah.
Sharky, my old friend.
Yeah, Bond implicates Sharky in the crimes that he is about to commit.
Yes.
Which include breaking illegally into the fish lab at night.
Yeah,
they break. No, he goes to the fish lab during the day.
He tries to
And
like
is
bullshit
brushed
them
off
with his usual,
Yeah.
what is essentially the Roger Moore playbook of like, ooh, I'm Mr. Bond, I'm here from the British Museum.
I'd like to buy one fish, please.
Yes.
I'd like to be shown around. And they're like, no. And he's like, oh.
No, fuck off.
I'll be back then.
This always used to work in the 60s.
They do give him a little tour, right? Where he meets Milton Crest, and Milton Crest is showing him that they have a lot of fish in this fish lab, to which they
use hormones to make them all male.
in order to
He's got a maggot box.
solve third world hunger. He's gonna like start.
I mean, Crest is bullshitting
Bombing.
him. Like he's just.
I choose to
It's
believe
funny.
that it's funnier if he's not. And Milton Crest is just incidentally running a 60s era villain scheme in the middle of an 80s action movie. And he's just like trying to get recognized for his like fish plan that is just going on incidentally to everything else.
Observe, Mr. Bond. There's a nice little detail as well where there's a dustpan and brush in the corner where someone's been doing some sweeping up, and Bond notices that Felix's carnation from his wedding suit has been swept up and is in the garbage. So he knows he's in the right place.
Yeah, and like
Bond and
cigarettes.
Sharky have to break into the warehouse after hours, which they do by like swimming up to it, climbing onto a gantry, and then as they're about to climb the ladder up in there, there is a pop-up shark landmine kind of defense.
Again, who won the Shizzy 8? Like the shark just sort of pops up and holds its head above water for 5 full seconds, which they can't do, but like whatever.
Yeah, he just kind of like bumps the gantry, and this is enough to like terrify Sharky back, but Bond proceeds anyway.
And then we enter the Hitman level, where Bond is going entirely for points. Does 3 of the weirdest kills, and they're all environmental ones.
Yes, because Bond starts poking around, pausing to go, you know, this is a lot like when I was the same guy and I was poking around an illegal horse steroids lab. And
he opens up a big box of maggots.
Yeah, he opens up a big drawer and it's full of maggots, and they make maggot noises, which, if you're not certain what maggot noises are like, they're doing this the whole time. So it's,
Sorry, that's just a guy doing that with his mouth.
yeah.
That's a Foley artist being like.
It's a compilation of all of my mouth noises that Nate edits out of every episode. And so, like, of course, because it sounds like good pussy, Bond dives both hands
straight in. And he's immediately caught by a guard who goes,
the most compromised
what?
Bond has ever been.
Find some drugs in there.
The guy pulls a gun on him, and he has both hands in a maggot drawer,
like up to the elbows. And it's quite funny actually. The guard's like, "Don't move," and Bond's like, "Do you mind if I take my hand out?" The guy's like, "Yeah, okay."
But this was a fatal mistake for that guard because
he gets a fistful of maggots thrown into his face.
Bond just spins perfectly and whips a fistful of maggots in like 3 perfect shots. An absolute fantastic piece of cinematography.
Genuinely incredible.
Just this guy getting maggots thrown in his face. And this is
like a genuine like Dale Gribble pocket sand thing, but just maggots. Like,
that's what they teach you in Welsh MI6. Always have pocket maggots.
Maggots, yeah. And then he judo throws this guy into the drawer of maggots and shuts it.
Yeah. Oh, imagine waking up like that. Oh.
That guy's probably alive.
He implies that that's gonna kill him, and I'm like, man, what?
Yeah,
I mean, he's going to be traumatized for sure, and he's going to have a fear of flies the rest of his life. But like,
look,
he's probably going to.
I'll tell you this for a fact. First of all, if that kills you, that's a fucking dire way to go out. Second of all, no.
now we move into like the Bond environmental kills bit.
Yeah, ooh, girl is my only note here.
Yes.
He hooks a guy into a tank with an electric eel in it.
Yep.
Turn me on with your electric feel.
Yes.
That's right.
He just does a couple of like highly contextual murders.
Oh, it's fully like the fucking QuickTime event pops up on screen while he's near the electric eel tank, and he's like, "Oh, got it."
It's the Assassin's Creed unique kill available.
And then he's caught while he opens up the big shark hole, and he's caught by Ed Killifer, who is holding a massive, heavy suitcase of money.
Yeah. Incidentally, we had seen Sanchez and Crest talk about Killifer before, right? Because Sanchez's whole deal is like loyalty, right? And so Crest doesn't want him there, and Sanchez is like, "No, I made a deal." But the way Crest tells him that is,
"I don't like it. You can finger me."
I'm sorry.
I'd hate for that to happen.
I haven't cut that clip off mid-sentence or whatever. It just hangs there for a second in the movie too.
And
almost as if Sanchez is going, "Wait, what?"
And Sanchez delivers like a legitimately great line after that, but it's hard to notice it because you're thinking about what? What?
I don't like
the line is, of course, loyalty is more valuable to me than money.
Mm-hmm.
So Ed Killifer, he gets fucking low kicked by Bond, and he's hanging over the shark pit. Yep. And he goes somewhere like, "Hey man, I got a shitload of money. Do you want half of it to not kill me?" And Bond sees the renegade pop up in the corner, and he's like, "Let's go." Tosses the fucking big thing of money into him, which caused him to fall in.
And he goes, "You earned it. You keep it."
And he's good. I would have gone with keep the change, but that's
and
fine.
he gets his Schussier.
Damn, Def, that would have been good, actually. That would have been way better.
And Sharky goes, "Damn, what a waste." And Bond like gives him a beat, and he goes, "Of money?" It's like, Sharky. I hope he sticks around.
Thanks for coming, man.
Oh God, I love Sharky.
Buy the toys, Sharky.
Yeah,
Sharky from the hit film.
So Bond then gets this is, I think, the first of a sequence that's going to recur later with both Brosnan and Craig of M more or less kidnapping Bond to yell at him.
Yeah, welcome to the "you're being taken off the case" scene that happens in every one of these 80s action films.
Yes.
Except it's fucking M.
Literally. M is like, "Give me your gun and your license to kill is revoked." Like.
Yes. M is
to send Bond on a mission. He's like, "I need you to go and like do your job." And Bond's like, "But I have to hunt down the men who mutilated my friend with a shark. Don't you know?" And M's like, "What? I can't understand what you're saying."
M's like,
But
"Sorry."
you're fired. And Bond just like kicks M and then
Yes.
that's it.
Bond,
so good.
Bond like throws some shit at like on one of M's guys,
Another
and then
fistful of maggots. He's like,
yeah, never mess with a Welshman with 2 pockets full of maggots at all
Fucking
times.
maggots. This is last night in a fish lab. Yeah.
The problem with M is M only has 2 goons, and Bond has 2 hands, and they're both full of maggots.
There's nothing you can do, man.
Yeah,
He's unstoppable.
They try to chase him, and M is like, "Oh, God help him." And this sets up a sort of general pattern of Bond, you're fired, but we're still kind
General
of rooting
pattern?
for you. Yes.
He's in
They
this?
don't try very hard.
No. It's like, you old scamp, go
They
on.
should have sent 008 after him. Like that would have been a good.
Yes.
Alas.
Well, we're back with Lupe.
We're at sea.
We're at sea on a boat that is not nearly as cool as the Disco Volante. May I say?
Sadly.
Yeah, it's kind of shit.
It's shit. Plus, the fits have gone downhill, right? Because like by this point, they're not even wearing like t-shirts with the name of like Disco Volante on them, and they're wearing jeans, which is just like,
Yeah, this is Milton Crest's ship that's called like the fucking Wave Crester or some shit like that. But it's spelled with a K like his name.
Doing drug deals on it.
yeah,
Doing drug deals.
and sort of like
And Bond sneaks on board
drunkenly,
disguised as a manta ray.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, but Crest sort of like drunkenly tries to like seduce / assault / threaten Lupe, and she just tells him to get out. The red dress that she's wearing in this scene, incredible. Anyway, so Bond sneaks on board disguised as a manta ray. Yes, as you said. He just has like a manta ray cape over his scuba suit. And he sees a shitload of cocaine in like a diving bell, like a decompression chamber in the bottom of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
God, I hope that doesn't come up.
yeah. Also, as Bond
Crest is selling dope.
selling dope. As
Remember when Dalton said selling dope? That one
hold
time?
on a
That was
second
good.
while I scroll down to that.
Selling dope.
There,
Using drugs.
using drugs. So also as
selling dope.
as Bond is infiltrating the ship, this is the first time we've seen henchmen off work in the entire franchise. He just like
And they must
goes
be hanging out.
Yeah, he just like goes past a couple of barracks. They're just asleep in there, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah, kind of nice.
yeah,
A lot of time off.
yeah.
And then Bond threatens a naked woman at knife point.
Yes.
James.
Breaks into
classic-
her room.
He's
This is
back.
the only
Threatens
ships that are
to make
actually
it.
Bond films
Mm-hmm.
within this entire thing. This is the only ship that is actually like a Bond film. He does this twice.
Again, not sure why when I saw this as a kid, this like made me feel weird. But he like extracts information from Lupe at knife point, and Lupe has like no real love for either Sanchez or Crest, and so she kind of just tells him everything that he wants to know.
He's not grateful for this at all. In fact, he's like kind of very angry and blames her. She says something like, Sanchez, he's a monster or whatever, but she has whip marks on him. And Bond's like, well, you seem to like it. And it's just like this is a vulnerable woman who's being abused. So you're just being a fucking knob about it.
Yeah.
But she does lie. Like she covers for him when Crest comes back. She's like, I haven't seen anything. And then we see that Sharky's dead.
Yeah, Sharky has been killed, and
and the guy who killed him does a bit as well.
Yeah.
He's strung up among the sharks because he's Sharky. Hey, he has a fucking like shark hunting thing.
yeah,
He's strung up in the
Sharky,
same
no.
way. And the guy who's driving the boat back in like yells to Crest, "Hey, his name really was Sharky." And at this point,
Seems
Bond
like an
goes,
ad-lib,
Yeah, we like
actually.
checked
Fuck.
his driver's license, and like the being around a henchman who does bits immediately angers Bond to the extent that he blows his cover because he shoots that guy with a spear gun.
"It's your
Man is
first
unarmed. Like, he's
first
in scuba
unlicensed
gear.
kill."
Yeah.
License kill number 1, brackets harpoon. He goes, this is for
Really,
Sharky.
you gotta really make it count. Yeah. So straight,
You obviously have Sharky, and then it blows him away with a harpoon.
straight down the line. Sharky.
What? This is for Sharky. And he's like, what? Who?
Yeah.
Like,
At this
he was
point,
with me earlier at the...
yeah. At this point, there's a
Maggots!
there's a float plane with 2 of Sanchez's guys who are like doing a drug deal with Crest. They're like loading cocaine into their plane and replacing it with money on a little like submersible thing. Bond sort of commandeers the submersible, and while Crest is trying to get his guys to kill Bond, he like rides it until he is able to fire a spear gun at the back of the plane.
I want to pull up actually a little bit before this, although I'll finish describing this though, because it's fun.
Water ski behind the plane.
Very cool.
Climb up that water ski cable and grab onto the plane, and then simply redo the Octopussy thing of climbing into the plane from the outside.
So
Then he flies away with the money. Just
Second consecutive
Second
time.
illegal kill.
James Bond.
Just stole a shit ton of drug money.
Yeah. This is like a real MI6 perks. Is like he's got a lot of drug money now.
Second illegal kill, chucks a guy out of a plane. But earlier on, they're offloading. He drops that guy a little bit less far, and he gets picked up. So I'm not.
No, I still want to count that as a kill. He throws the guy out of a plane.
It's right. You know what? It's an attempted illegal kill. Fine. And my understanding is that attempted murder is still a crime.
Yes.
So let's put it down there.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I'm really sorry to be the one to tell you this.
I need to make some calls.
My tea tastes weird.
So right. When they're offloading the coke onto the fucking submersible, Bond completely gives his position away by just stabbing the bricks of coke with a knife for no fucking reason at all, apart from that he's pissed off. Like, he could have just got it onto the plane quite stealthily, but instead he's just like, fuck you, fuck
This
coke,
is
fuck
kind of a like Kyle Bond, you know?
It's so good.
Bond enlisting in the
just
Marines.
mad.
The fact that he then like water skis behind a boat and then climbs inside it makes more sense if you like choose to believe that like some of the coke got into his he's just like a little bit fucking coked up for the rest. Oh, I'm an absolute fucking ranger. I've had a whole bunch of underwater whiz.
Bizarre scene.
Right now.
So coked up Welsh James Bond suddenly remembers that there has been plot that happened to him, which was
I love coked up Welsh James Bond.
The mini disc in like the portrait of dead wife. So he flies the coke plane back to Felix's house, I guess, and uses mini disc on computer and goes through Felix's files, in which he finds a bunch of information about selling a horse to Roger Moore, but also a list of Felix's informants in Sanchez's drug cartel, of whom all are dead but one, Pam Bouvier.
Whom Felix had a meeting scheduled with because she is an informant.
Yes. And
I
there
just
is
want to pull out and say, probably my favorite Bond girl name, Pam Bouvier.
Pam Bouvier.
Pam Bouvier.
We
Sounds
see her earlier in the film. She wasn't named, but she was actually at Felix's wedding, and it's like
that's nice.
Bond the brush off.
So yeah,
she's also insanely
she makes
hot.
fun of Bond's gun.
She...
he has the rendezvous with her in like a sort of speedboat bar.
It's a sports bar. It's like a tropical sports bar.
But he does get there
cool.
by speedboat.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And they have
Bond, who, by the way, is now a millionaire because he has a plane full of $5 million in drug money.
Yeah, he's just like, yo, I got a lot of
sure where he's
dollar.
put all of that.
Yeah.
So
they have.
I can't stress enough that this is a rogue secret agent at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro comes in looking for them because they're watching the meeting. We find out a little about Benicio del Toro's character at this point.
He's bad news. He used to be with the Contras before they kicked him out. Just the kind of guy Sanchez would send.
I like the idea of a guy who is like too crazy for the Contras or like too evil for the Contras.
21.
But like,
how do you get kicked out of the Contras that easy?
Two things this line could be doing. One, and I'm not sure which is funnier. One is like he's so evil that even the Contras who are evil think he's too evil, or it's trying to spare the reputation of the Contras a little bit by being like, yeah, no, at least they've got standards.
I am not going to make that joke.
Legally.
So Bond turns up and she's like, "Do you are you packing?" And he like shows his little Walther, and she makes this face like, "That's a gay gun for women." And then we look below the table and we see that she's got a shotgun between her legs, which is very funny.
Yeah, all I wrote was "get his ass, Pam," and I wrote it about 5 consecutive times during this
kind
scene.
of have like the Inglourious Bastards like sort of party game scene
really
at this
do.
point. Like they're seated around the table and they're trying to like make conversation in a "we are all about to kill each other" kind of way. And eventually Bond loses his patience and like punches a guy. And we have bar brawl Bond. He swings on a chandelier. Like
full fucking caps here. Someone comes at him with a swordfish.
Yes.
Someone picks a fucking swordfish off the wall and is like, "I'm gonna kill James Bond with this, I reckon." And I was like, yeah, you should.
Illegal kill number 3. Swordfish guy.
A lot of unique kills.
Yeah, that's
I wrote this down. Like, this is absolutely the fucking heyday of killing henchmen in extremely off-the-wall fucked ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about having the license is that you've got to do it in the approved way, but when you're unlicensed, you can do it.
You just have fun with it. It's so funny that this has the reputation of being like the most grimdark Bond movie, and it's like, yeah, there's a swordfish. The guy
tosses a guy into a maggot container. Come on.
No, it's not that fucking gritty or realistic. But
fistful of maggots.
Bond and Pam, but Bond and Pam escape. Bond hurling fistfuls of maggots in every direction.
Yeah, while he's leaving, just and they're going, "Is these maggots?"
And at this point, Bond's accent takes a fucking step change into becoming even more Welsh. Like he yells at her, right? And it like what he sounds like is,
"You're bloody lucky to be alive."
That's a Welsh man.
That's Abby's impression of him. Like, that's not even. "You're bloody lucky to be alive."
I fully support
stupid shit.
Reducing the entire world of James Bond to like Wales and environs. I want to see
I really like Pam though.
Yeah, Pam in this scene, she fucking owns him like 4 or 5 times.
She's like, "Fuck you, man. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm an ex-army pilot. I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?" And then they shag for no reason. And I'm like, come on.
It's fun. Also, she kisses him first, and Bond says, "Why don't you wait until you're asked?" Which is a fun line, but a bit rich coming from this guy, I find.
Yeah. Dude, you are
James
canonically a rapist.
Yeah. When he was the same guy.
Until you're asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were the same guy during Goldfinger.
Yeah. So
why don't you fuck off?
He offers.
Check this out. Fuck off, eh?
Fuck off. So he offers her some drug money.
Fuck off back to Cardiff, you tough cunt.
To fly to not Panama City, Isthmus City, which is where Sanchez's like empire is based.
Where is this?
It's
this
Panama.
is a fake nation. It's based on Panama, but they're doing a thing about Panamanian dictator fucking Noriega.
Yeah, it's like
working hard on at this
or
moment.
whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isthmus.
Or like fucking the place where Kananga was from.
Yeah. So meanwhile, back in
San Pellegrino,
back in MI6, Moneypenny is checking up on Bond because she's worried about him. And so is M, kind of. So again, it's like you get this vibe of like where he's been off the case before, he's been off the case. Like on Her Majesty's Secret Service, he's just out. Whereas here, it's more like, it's Bond, he'll be back. How you doing, buddy? He's taking a little sabbatical to go on a roaring rampage of revenge against the drug cartel.
Every British agent gets to do this.
Yes.
Once or twice.
Like, you get one revenge rampage.
We'll cover up one revenge rampage.
Bond and Pam rock up to a 5-star hotel with $4.9 million in cash and just start fucking living large. Like,
yeah, Bond
splashing money around. He's like fresh flowers every day.
Bond walks into the fucking bank chairman's office and goes, "I'd like to make a small deposit," and the bank chairman's like, "I'm sure the people downstairs can take care of it." And then you hear the sound of the suitcase of money being put down. It's so fucking loud. And the guy seamlessly swaps into, "Why don't you take a seat?"
Yeah. So he introduces Pam as his executive assistant, Miss Kennedy. Kennedy Bouvier, fun, right? And
yeah, it's funny.
She gets this line.
Why can't you be my executive secretary?
We're south of the border. It's a man's world.
Which, first
But by the way, didn't get it. Jacqueline Kennedy, her maiden name was Bouvier, which is why it's funny that she's being...
Yeah, it's a little historical
Kennedy.
nod to a previous MI6 operation, the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Which they did.
Yes, yeah.
You know what they put? No, they couldn't have been them. They would have fucked it up.
They threw maggots at him from the third floor window.
Yeah, it's a man's world. And it's like
west of the border, now it's a man's world.
Yeah, and he sure seems to not like that, hey?
Oh yeah.
He fucking it's a man's world down here.
It reminds me again how many female heads of state there have been in like South and Central America versus the United States. Because anyway.
Well, we tried to have one, Alice.
That's true.
Fucking Putin.
She was electable if you fucking voted for her. I know. I'm sorry.
That's right. Yeah, you've seen the tank top.
Yeah.
Snake emoji.
Also,
So
this
Bond
weird
also
thing.
says like, "I'd like to open a tab at the casino," and to which the fucking guy goes, "Oh, of course, you have plenty of collateral right here, and our chairman owns the casino." And it's so funny that you could just walk into a bank with some money and be like, "These are the crimes that we do." And they're like, "Yes, absolutely."
Yeah. Also, there's this weird thing that I've noticed about this movie, right? And once you notice it, you can't stop noticing it, which is that Bond has a compulsive laugh, right? And the compulsive laugh doesn't sound...
It's disease from the Joker.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like a normal laugh. You could hear a little bit of it in that drop, right? Where it's like...
Why can't you be my executive secretary?
Like he is saying the word, ha.
Yeah, he's not even laughing. He's just like red while laughing.
I choose to believe that Timothy Dalton has a blind spot as a performer, that he can't laugh on cue. So he just has to say, ha 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 ha.
But like, this is the thing, right? He's doing this all the way through interacting with Felix and Felix's wife, right? Like, anytime he's having fun at the wedding, he's just like,
he's like,
for like, even when there's no dialogue, there's a bit where he walks across the room and like he brushes by some people and he just goes, and it's like, I don't
staccato. It's fucking insane.
I think that this is because being happy is so foreign to James Bond's character that they don't know how to do it. Right?
They literally have no idea how to make it be.
Yeah, because
James
like Bond doesn't do happiness. He's like, at best, he's like content. Like he has like a nice bottle of champagne, or he has some sex or whatever. But like he's grimly satisfied because he has done something difficult, like killing a guy in a weird way. But like actual happiness or
he's
relaxation,
pulled off a weird environmental kill.
Like the only time he's actually done that was Lazenby, and Lazenby delivered that in quite a sort of like understated way because Lazenby couldn't act. And
Yeah, that was just genuine.
Yeah, Timothy Dalton can act.
As genuine as the moment.
Yeah.
There's no genuine joy as nice as the moment where a waiter brings George Lazenby a drink and like George Lazenby just like reflexively smiles thank you to him.
Yeah.
Like there's no
There's
no sincere
nice.
smile.
Whereas Dalton has like gotten inside the character in a way that Lazenby couldn't because he couldn't act. And Dalton is like, James Bond, he is a cunt, but I must play him as if he is having fun. How does James Bond have fun? There's another line later on which is perfect for this because he laughs to a line that isn't even funny.
Don't you know? Iguana's our girl's best friend.
He like walks away laughing.
I hate that so much.
He's like, oh, well, what will they think of next? Yeah, perfect.
Women. Well, the joke there is, of course, that the iguana had a diamond necklace, and during that scene, Lupe had swapped the necklace onto her wrist.
A lot like the time I was involved in diamond smuggling in Las Vegas when I was the same
like when that
guy.
cat had a diamond necklace when we had Pierre Valley on to talk
It's a
about.
lot like the time I murdered those two gay men. Anyway,
we have to go to a casino. Bond gets bored if he doesn't go to a casino.
Fucking honest here, Abigail. There is not one time he's murdered two gay men on a cruise ship. He's one of the fucking funniest things that someone's ever said to me was a man in the fucking boys chat who just simply wrote Devon on a cruise ship. I was informed this was a cruise ship. Which James Bond just gets on the wrong kind.
yeah.
So Bond goes to the casino.
Bond actually has quite a clever plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his plan is like, well, I'm going to go to Sanchez's
shit.
casino and I'm going to start spending all of his fucking money.
Yeah, he's going to do some spy
Sanchez
shit.
knows
But
that somebody's just robbed him of 4.9 million.
Yeah, but the thing is, his usual plan of I'm going to rock up to a place, introduce myself as James Bond, and then ask to see all the secret documents or whatever, that actually works this time because Sanchez doesn't know who James Bond is. And he drops enough truth in there to make it verifiable because he like is able to go, yeah, I used to be a British agent and then I got fired.
Yeah.
So
it's really good actually.
Yeah.
He keeps winning at blackjack, and then somebody, because he wins so much, somebody makes the call upstairs because Sanchez owns the casino and he's upstairs, and the head croupier on the floor is like, yeah, there's this British guy, he's playing like a real jerk off. Do you want us to close the table? And Sanchez is like, no, like bring him up, like I want to see this guy.
Mm-hmm. Which he does, and while he's in there, Bond is like scoping out the area for like ways to murder him. He's turning on fucking Hitman instinct vision.
He notes that the window that's right by where he sits at all times is like fucking 3 inches thick, bulletproof glass, and he's like, fuck,
yeah. All right. So also, Sanchez is listening to a televangelist.
Yes.
Like who is secretly coordinating his drug distribution network through a series of coded messages in like telethons. So if he says like
I love this character, he's so much fun.
Our Los Angeles chapter has pledged $500 or whatever, that's like an offer to buy at that price. But
500 kilos.
He's also like played by Wayne Newton, which is great.
Yeah, he was actually a big popular televangelist at the time. The man's name's
Jim Baker.
Joe Butcher, such as Jim Baker. Yeah, who was, and I think this isn't libel to say, was televangelists at the time were pretty much to a man freak perverts.
Yep. 100%. Garth Ennis characters.
Oh yeah, there's a great Eat the Rich episode about televangelists actually.
So
way back.
Bond,
it was like episode 5, I think.
But Bond offers his services to Sanchez as a professional killer.
Yeah, he walks in and he goes Nate mode. He's like, I'm a problem solver.
Yes.
Well, actually, that's not the line because Sanchez says a problem solver.
And Bond says more of a problem eliminator.
Yeah.
And this gets a laugh because apparently everybody has the fucking Joker disease.
Everyone in the room goes, ah, ha, 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 ha.
Yes.
Right, it's so good. It's fucking really good. God damn it.
So Sanchez kind of demurs a bit. He's like, well, you seem like an asshole, but give me a few days to check you out. I'm going to keep your passport and your gun.
Welcome to Devon Zone. I I have 3 notes from bits that we missed. First of all, he sends off Pam to get a vodka martini. Of course,
I love this. Yes.
And when he goes up, she watches him leave and just like fucking bangs the vodka martini. 1 swig. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Second,
and she makes a horrible face, which means that since Fleming wrote it, someone has finally tried drinking a vodka martini shaken not stirred in real life.
Yeah, because a fucking vodka martini, especially a dry vodka martini, is you put 25 ml of vodka into a glass somewhere in the vicinity of some fucking vermouth. Like, you look at a bottle while you do it.
Yes.
And that's just a vodka shot, dog. You can get that in a really small cup if you want. You don't have to have it in a fucking martini glass. But also, I hooted and hollered because there's a man in the background during this casino scene that I fucking recognized instantly.
What?
I was like, that is Gari Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Yes.
That is fucking Eddie Sakamura from
Rising Sun.
I saw him and I was like, ooh.
Which you will know if you're on the Patreon.
I know that cunt. He's not in a fucking scene unless he's going to kick someone in the face.
He is a
So I start going,
meat and potatoes, man.
I was looking to see if I still have the meat and potatoes drop, and I sadly don't. I know.
Fantastic. And then also there's a guy in the casino main room. I think it's called Truman Lodge is the character's name.
Yeah, he's like Sanchez's finance guy.
Yeah, he's the finance guy. He's ticking my Val Kilmer and Top Secret boxes.
Looking submissive and breedable. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, he's Sanchez's accountant. But Bond gets back to the hotel, and the lady on the desk says, "Oh, your uncle has arrived, Mr. Bond," and he's finally learned to be a spy. Yeah, he's finally, because he's not just like, "Oh, I don't have an uncle at all. What you're talking about? My uncle died years ago." He actually just goes, "Oh, thanks."
Oh yeah, my uncle from Port Talbot.
There's still a facial wobble, but he's getting there, baby.
Yeah,
and it's fucking cute.
I also enjoy that there's a little subversion of the usual Bond leaves and the villain immediately goes, kill him, because Bond leaves the room with Sanchez and he goes, that guy fucks. All right, tell me everything about him. Let's find out.
Yeah, just check him out. Yeah. So Q, after having been like dive tackled by Bond and then immediately getting back up and being like, yeah, that's fine, I'm fine. Q is a 97-year-old man. It would have broken every bone in his body like a baby bird.
He's gonna get older, baby.
And because Bond was expecting it to be some sort of assassin, as has happened several times when he was the same guy, he goes to Pam, give me a gun, and she gives him a gun.
Little tiny
and as soon as he
Beretta.
leaves, she pulls a second gun out of her purse, which I really enjoy.
Gee, Pam, how come your mom lets you carry 2 Berettas?
Also, she's got a really short haircut in this, and it's fantastic.
Fuck, I completely missed this.
Purple,
right.
sparkly sequin dress.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, so in between the casino scene and the hotel scene, Bond is like, well, if you're going to be my executive secretary, you'd better look the part. He tosses her some cash and is like, yeah, go fix yourself up. You look like shit, dog.
About £100,000 in 20s he tosses her.
And she reappears in the next scene in like a backless purple sort of like a shimmery gown with the hair that I want, the hair that gives me fucking gender dysphoria, like the fucking short 80s haircut. It's just
Yeah, I mean, you could get that haircut, like
not with my hairline.
That's a haircut, you know, you could do it.
Well, anyway, so yeah, she looks amazing, but
Q gives him a bunch of gadgets because he's like, Moneypenny's worried about you, so she sent me out. And he gives him a bunch of gadgets that he doesn't fucking use.
Yeah, he gives him like a sniper rifle disguised as a camera that only Bond can use.
Because it's with his palm print. That's the only really one. He doesn't use the exploding toothpaste or the laser stuff, does he?
No, he kind of uses the explosive toothpaste.
He uses the explosive toothpaste. He doesn't use the laser camera.
Yeah. So the explosive toothpaste is literally just plastic explosive in a toothpaste tube.
Yeah.
And so Bond is like, right, I'm gonna go and kill Sanchez now in revenge for killing my friend. So
Sanchez is in a meeting.
Yes.
During this with a bunch of, and I'm just gonna quote directly here, Asian gangster delegation.
Now, referred to by multiple characters as Orientals.
Yeah, And
Yeah.
what's fantastic for this is, and I don't know if this was specific. I don't know if this was I don't know if this was a decision that was made, or if this just was a symptom of nobody being involved in this movie understanding anything. But when they're introduced to the Asian gangster delegation, both Truman Lodge and Heller greet them in Japanese, but every single one of them is speaking Chinese amongst each other.
Yes.
Also, the only two named ones are called Kwang and Tan, which are Chinese surnames.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear,
So-
oh
so-
dear.
Just going straight to Hong Kong and being like, Ohio gozaimasu.
Yes.
How you doing?
Oh, fuck.
So Bond heads up to a rooftop that he had scouted while he was in Sanchez's office.
He
Having
gropes a statue's tits.
nonced up a statue. He has done the prep for this by abseiling down,
Stone nonce.
noncing a stone, putting the plastic explosive underneath the armored window with a little
Dancing the
detonator.
stone. It's really good,
A
actually.
little known Danny DeVito movie.
Yeah.
Noncing the stone.
So having done this, he goes up to his sniper hide with his camera gun, and he sights up Sanchez. But at the last second,
Sanchez has a fucking awesome line because he's meeting the president of country.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Manuel
and, the
not
president-
Riega.
And he threatens the president by saying, "Remember, you're only president for life," which I just thought was really
Really
nice.
good, yeah, it's
really
a good
nice
line.
little line. I watched this film with a friend of the show, Alice Quinn Rose, and we both turned to each other and were like, "Sick."
Yeah, it's a good fucking line.
Yeah, so Bond is sighting up Sanchez through his camera gun, but then he sees Pam Bouvier walk in order to conduct some kind of deal with Sanchez's security guy, Heller. And while he is thus surprised, he detonates the explosives ready to shoot Sanchez and is attacked by ninjas. Ninja.
First, you become a ninja.
First, you become a ninja.
Do you have any commandos
No,
here?
first you become a Japanese.
I have much, much better. Ninjas. Top secret, Bond.
Yeah.
He's
On
like, I
Sam.
remember these guys from when I was Japanese.
Yeah, when I was
I remember
married
when I
to a
became
Japanese woman.
Japanese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when Felix is like he was married once, he's referring to his fake Japanese
Yeah, he's referring to
marriage.
Kissy Suzuki from fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah. He's married once. Didn't end well because he had to abseil into a volcano. Yeah.
And also, this is an extremely legitimate assassination attempt by Bond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely stone cold shit.
He's ready to compromise this man to a permanent end, but he is jumped by the ninja. The explosive goes off. Sanchez, of course, books it along with all of the drug kingpins he was talking to, and Bond gets his ass handed to him. He gets his dick and balls kicked in.
He's forgotten all his training from that time he became
Usually
a
there's a
Japanese.
huge waiting list. But you're right, Dev. He's forgotten all the ninja stuff he was taught by Tiger Tanaka.
Tiger Tanaka will be so disappointed in him here.
Yes. So
Back when he was the same guy.
Dishonorable conduct, Bond-san.
Oh, God, they fully would write that as well.
Yeah.
Bond wakes up tied to a table in a hideout, where the guy that he had seen before, the guy from Rising Sun, the guy's name I don't remember.
I think he's called Mr. Wong in this film.
Okay, yeah, Mr.
This is his
Wong.
character
isn't.
name, but he's like...
He isn't, but
he's
that's fine.
Wait.
Hiroyuki Tagawa, and he's called... Well, it's Kwang, to be fair, but
Oh shit, I must have misheard it. I'm sorry.
Well, anyway,
worries.
He's like, I'm a fucking Hong Kong cop, you fucking idiot.
yeah,
You we are in the middle of an operation. You are fucking up. Who the fuck are you?
I just got back from beating up every man in Australia because I was also that same guy. So yeah,
That's a different guy.
No, different, the same guy, same franchise.
Hi, Stefan here. I'm just editing this episode. I just wanted to say I was a little overly harsh here. The character's name was indeed Kwang, but I think someone may well have pronounced it Kwong at some point during the episode, which is why Abby thought that his name was Wong. However, I don't know what the fuck Alice is talking about here. She might be thinking of the man from Hong Kong, but that's an entirely different guy. That's not Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa. That is Jimmy Wang Yu. Anyway, sorry. Please enjoy the rest of this episode of Kill James Bond. Love you.
So, anyway, also, MI6's man in Isthmus is there and is like,
Yeah.
right, we're going to have to shoot you up with happy juice now, Bond. You're going to be returned to London.
It was an absolute shock to hear such a heavy British accent just out of nowhere. It fucking hit me like a train.
Actually, he sounds a little bit like a kind of a de-aged Charles Grey.
Yeah.
He used to go entirely
Yeah.
Japanese.
It's like, holy shit, this guy's actually English.
Oh, for God's sake, 007.
Really? 007. I'm going to have to inject you with estradiol. But as he is preparing to inject Bond with the good stuff, the building gets blown up by an armored car.
Yeah. I guess
the army attack with Sanchez because they work for him.
Yes.
Because it's established that Sanchez like basically controls the whole country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they are all killed. Bond is the sole survivor. And is
He's
rescued.
clearly tied to a table, so they're like, oh, I see. I see.
And they're like, oh, we're going to rescue this guy. Good. And so Bond wakes up in Sanchez's mansion as his, like, honored guest.
And we would be remiss if we didn't mention the first thing that Bond sees when he wakes up. Because this is an image that has been sent to us on the account multiple times as we got closer and closer to doing this movie.
Bond...
He wakes up.
He wakes up...
God, I'm sorry.
He wakes up to behold the face of a human-faced fish statuette.
It just perfectly cuts to it. No sound, no cue, just a shot of that fucking horrendous fish statue.
I have written in,
and then
I have written in what, and then underlined that.
What? A little odd bit of decor.
Where did Sanchez purchase the fish statue?
Yeah. My only note is need that statue.
No.
I'm gonna put it in the guest bedroom.
But yeah, Sanchez thinks that the explosion that blew up his office was those guys and that Bond was trying to save him. So he's like, oh, hey, like, thanks a lot. And Bond does a clever bit of spy work here because he implies that Crest is behind this. He's like, I think there's somebody who's an inside man in the organization. I presume it must be that Crest fellow I've heard so much about.
Because like Lupe, who is still helping him, even though he's a piece of shit to her, because like she hates Sanchez, is like, Crest is flying in tomorrow, and so he drops like this trail of breadcrumbs that like he heard them talking about getting paid from a guy who was coming in tomorrow or whatever, in
cash especially.
Sort
of try to tie it that it was the 5 million that was stolen.
To make him suspect Crest.
He also says, I used to work for the British government, which is just entirely true, and it's like good spy work. And when he implies it's someone in his organization, Sanchez says, everyone in my organization is 100% loyal.
Organization.
This motherfucker just said. Organization.
This organization does not toll value.
Organization. Which is, of course, where Sanchez is from in the Caribbean. Right. Yeah. And you also get a nice line from Sanchez, which is, while Bond is leaving the room, Hela goes, you're not going to believe what this guy is. And Sanchez goes, he's a former British agent. And I was like, how do you know that? And Sanchez smiles and just goes, I know things. And it's really
it's quite cute.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it about this absolutely murderous drug cartel guy. He kind of fucks.
You do have to hand it to him.
You know what else is cool is that we see that Sanchez like doesn't murder his henchmen when they fail him.
No.
He does murder some of his henchmen in spectacular fashion later.
Very soon.
But he doesn't like. He seems to be like pretty nice generally to his employees.
We see him in a pretty relaxed vibe here. So Bond once again uses Lupe to escape. And having done so, he busts back into the hotel room and for the second time holds a woman down on a bed naked and points a weapon at her. Because he like questions Pam as to why she was dealing with Hela. And she tells him that Sanchez has gotten hold of some Stinger missiles. And she, working for the CIA, is trying to make a deal with Hela to get them back. And so Bond has fucked this up for like two separate competing parties merely by being a murderous dickhead in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I think she literally says like, "There's more at stake here than just your personal vendetta."
Yeah,
like, she literally like.
I think Bond becoming increasingly unkempt and furious because during this scene he's unshaven, like he's got massive vibroid shadow. It's good, and it would be better if he was shown to be wrong ever in more than just the occasional line from Pam. Lupe, he's clearly acting like a complete cunt, and he's going on nothing but instinct, and he's fucking up repeatedly. But like, no one is saying to him, "Hey, man, you are jeopardizing everything that everyone is working on right now."
Lupe shows up in the hotel in an incredible polka dot dress. Wish I had shoulders like that. And then it gets weird again because she's like, "I'm in love with James."
Yeah.
And Pam gets jealous?
Yeah, because I guess Bond and Pam have already had sex, right?
Yeah.
And so she is kind of jealous that, because I think she correctly deduces that like Bond and Lupe have they had sex yet?
No, Lupe says
I
it.
think so.
They have, and Lupe says it. She's So Pam says Bond's out of the country by now, and Lupe goes, "No, he was with me last night." To which it cuts to Q, and he does such a fucking heavy eye roll sigh combo. It's like, oh, there he is.
Yeah,
and then he perfectly quotes the entire Covert Human Intelligence Resources Act.
Yeah. Q tries to like
straight at the camera.
Q tries to cover for Bond to Pam by being like, "You can't judge him too harshly. Your covert operatives have to use every means at their disposal." To which she correctly says, "Bullshit."
Yeah, he looks directly at the camera and goes, "Look." Sorry, go.
When Q is like, "Look, when James nutted inside that woman, he didn't enjoy it. It was for Queen and country."
Yeah, he did it for Wales.
Yeah, when he like jizzed all down the front of this insanely hot babe, it was purely out of sense of duty.
That's right.
Yeah, when he swapped position for the third time, that was for the fucking Welsh dragon. He was thinking of Idir Goch during that.
It's patriotism. That's what it is.
So Bond sets up sets the trap to spring on Sanchez, right? Because Crest is coming into town on his yacht.
Oh Bond baby.
And Pam infiltrate that yacht, plant a shitload of money, the $5 million of drug money that Bond has.
Or what's left of it after Bond's finished, splashing it all over town on tuxedos and martinis.
In order to disguise how much of it he's skimmed off the top, he just puts a big pile of it on the ground.
Yeah, he just like scatters it all over the inside of that decompression chamber.
Also, he's wearing an oversized blue t-shirt and no shoes. And I wrote, "New Bond fit." Just dropped.
Yeah, it's weird.
What's going on here?
Yeah. So
there's a genuinely quite funny moment where Sanchez asks Crest, like, what happened with the drug deal that went wrong?
Yeah.
And Crest is like, this guy came and then he was water skiing behind a plane and then he climbed inside it and stole it. And they're like, "Bullshit, I don't believe you." Trying
to explain Bond to a normal person is a very funny bit.
It's actually such a fucking good scene because he's getting entirely stonewalled.
Why didn't you get him?
Going like, "Lupe, you saw this, right?" And she's like, "No, I stayed in my cabin like you asked."
Yeah.
He's like,
he went to space and there was a spaceship full of himbos.
Why didn't you get him? Well, boss, he jumped off a cliff and then he opened a Welsh flag parachute he had concealed on him that we didn't notice.
He turned into a Japanese man and he had ninja training.
He got inside a crocodile.
What did he do to that guy? We haven't solved this yet.
He got away from us because he had an experimental jetpack that he used to fly.
Twice. He had a second experimental jetpack. It's just getting entirely stonewalled while he's like explaining just verbatim what Bond did is so fucking good.
It's very funny.
It's great. So he has his henchmen search the boat and they find the money. And then we get the bit that like gave me nightmares as a kid. Consider that a little content warning, if you like, because
This is a genuine content warning.
while Bond is simply watching, concealed, Sanchez shows Crest the money, and Crest is like, I don't know whose money that is, I'm being set up. Sanchez, of course, does not believe him, throws him into the diving bell, and increases the pressure while the guy is like pleading for his life, and then hits the air release valve with an axe, causing the guy's head, much like Katanga in Live and Let Die, causing the guy's head to inflate and explode. And it's done.
And we see this happen.
Yeah, this is done with the most visceral practical effects possible at the time.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good practical effects.
It's really fucking grim.
Weird face, which could be the episode art.
No, it's
we've
genuinely
been asked directly not to
It looks
make
like something
that.
from The Thing.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's-
horrifying.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And when I
it
was
does
a
look like
kid,
something
this
from The
gave me
Thing.
nightmares.
It's a fucking Cronenberg practical effect is what it is, man. It's incredible.
Yeah. He
specifically.
turns into fucking strawberry jam.
Mm-hmm. And then
while he's leaving, one of his men says to Sanchez, "What about the money, Padron?" So Sanchez goes, "Launder it."
fucking.
And I was like, oh, you can't hate him.
Sanchez has all the one-liners in this. Bond hardly has any. Sanchez is the guy with the lines.
Yeah. So
incredible.
But anyway, again, Bond does cool spy shit because Sanchez gets back to his mansion, goes into Bond's room, and Bond's like asleep. So like pretending to be asleep. And then Sanchez is like, hey, like that tip you gave me was really cool. And Bond says, oh, was there just one guy? Oh, I would have thought there was more. Never mind. It must be nothing, I guess. Like,
he goes like,
so cool.
No, he goes, someone would have to be insane to try to take you on their own. And looks directly at the camera and goes,
this is when Lupe and Bond shag.
Yes.
This is when she comes into his room.
Still looking incredible, by the way. Hottest Bond girl. Not taking questions on this.
He goes really heavily Welsh in this scene.
Incorrect, but she is up.
So
yeah.
And
then Q wears a fake mustache.
Senor Q, yes.
Senor Q.
Because Bond is invited to go and tour the drug production lab along with the other
Selling
drug
dope.
kingpins. Selling dope. Which is concealed in like a sort of like meditation retreat run by this televangelist. It's actually like a cultural center in Mexico. Looks incredible. Like
it looks fantastic.
Really, really like intense architecture. So like
there's also an extremely fun bit where Hugh radios in to be like, yeah, I can see him, he's on his way in, and then just fucking tosses his radio rake into the hedge.
Yeah, that's great.
Which was Desmond Llewellyn's idea. He thought it would be funny that after a fucking entire franchise of chastising Bond for losing his gadgets, he just fucking tossed one away blithely. To which I can say, absolutely right. It was fucking great.
Yeah. So Pam tries to like infiltrate the institute, this meditation institute, on one hand, while Bond is like on the tour, where they're explaining how they hide the cocaine by dissolving it in gasoline and then like congealing it. And this whole time they're wearing their masks, which is helpful for Bond because Benicio del Toro is there. And Benicio del Toro has seen his face and knows who he is.
I love that they just got around Dario knowing who Bond is by just having him not be in the movie for the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, what
as
was
soon
he
as he
doing?
shows
Who
back
knows?
up again, it's like, this guy.
Yeah.
He also has such a fucking good fit. He has such an insanely good fit in this fucking movie. It's like this,
Pam doesn't really.
No, you first, sorry.
Pam doesn't really do anything while she's here, by the way. She just kind of locks Wayne Newton in a closet, which is whatever.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
What's his?
Because he tries to announce her.
Well, Benicio del Toro is wearing a half-length coat. So, like, if you imagine morning wear, but instead of having the tails, it just cuts off at the waist, a little bit above it, and he's got a t-shirt on. And the way he gets his knife out every time, he does a little flourish. He like When he flicks his knife out at any point in this movie, he holds his arm completely out to the side. It's great. It's just a fun
cool
little
as hell.
thing.
He's just such a small role, but he just injects it with so much There's even the line earlier on where he says, where he says of Felix's wife, we gave her a honeymoon. But he for some reason makes this really interesting decision with the delivery. He says, we gave her a honeymoon. And it's that's one way to expand the size of your part is literally take longer to say the lines, man. That's cool.
They will give you the Kronstein rosette for this commas.
It's a reference to the bonus episode that comes after this.
No, previous.
Oh, fuck. Is it? Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I wouldn't have made that.
So,
well, I probably still would have.
So Bond gets made by Dario despite wearing a mask. And Dario puts a gun in his back. But at an opportune moment while a chemist is demonstrating how to re-distill the cocaine, Bond just starts throwing lab equipment around and starts a fire like he's I don't know.
I don't think it's not even that. Sanchez starts the fire. Bond just uses the opportunity because Sanchez is talking about how, hey, if they catch you, no evidence, it sets fire to the cocaine filled gasoline, and Bond just immediately kicks the table over. It's cheers, man,
cool,
thank you.
He takes advantage of it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So this starts a big fire and the place is burning down. And we see that there's this. What is this machine? How would you just? It's not really a grinder. It's like a.
It's
like a
massive
mincer?
shredder for the cocaine, so that it can be dissolved into gasoline.
With of course, a big conveyor belt going onto it.
You have.
Yeah,
of course.
So Sanchez has Dario put Bond on the conveyor belt, and then he's like, "Yeah, this is just gonna eat you." By the time it is up to your knees, you'll be begging me to kill you. And Bond tries to bluff for time using the exact same gambit as when he was the same guy in Goldfinger, which is at the last second toss out something you vaguely remember hearing about and hope it works. Which in Goldfinger was Operation Grand Slam, and here is the Stinger missiles.
It was a main strike. Wait, no, it was
No, main strike is Zoran's thing. It was Operation Grand Slam.
It's all the same shit. No, it was Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Operation Grand Slam. The Stinger missiles. And he points out that hey, have you seen your guy Hella? Because he's just booked it with the missiles.
Yeah.
And Sanchez is that's a very interesting point. I'm going to leave you to die now, but I'm just going to go and check on that. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Bond essentially gets...
And then Bond ends up being
Sorry.
You go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was going to say, Bond gets every single person in Sanchez's inner circle killed just by saying their names during this process. He's just Hella's got your missiles, fucking wherever his cunt name is, the twink, he's probably got all your money,
Lodge. We do see that Hella is in fact betraying him. He's loading the Stinger missiles onto a helicopter to try and take them back to the CIA. And Sanchez is oh, cool, okay. And we just cut back to Bond being sort of menaced by Dario.
Yeah. Because Bond is his hands are tied and they get caught on the conveyor belt, so he's just above the shredder. And Benicio del Toro spits in his face and is trying to cut the rope. And then Bouvier appears and shoots Benicio del Toro non-fatally, and Bond throws him in the shredder, and he is horrifically turned into chunks.
Oh yeah, he is
my man gets minced.
He's not doing well. I actually have something for this. I have that on S or no? Hold on. Yeah, it was the drop.
Selling dope.
No, it was this.
Started in mulch.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
So a classic thing of Bond and girl escape as facility blows up around them.
We see that Hella has been killed by being impaled with a forklift.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That must have been hard.
I don't know. Genuinely no idea how that one happened.
At this point, we have our final chase, right? Which
freak accident.
Would in previous movies it'd be planes or whatever. We've already done planes. We've already done boats. We've already done winter sport in the living daylights. It's James Bond.
Trucks.
James Bond solves the HGV driver shortage
No. He's causing that fucking shortage. My God.
He takes him out.
He's ripping through
Sanchez and Truman Lodge are like trying to escape in a convoy of trucks filled with like cocainified gasoline. And Bond steals one of them and like murders his way forward is the only way I can describe it.
He does some Fury Road shit.
He does.
Oh, really? I love this.
There's a bit where like one of Sanchez's guys tries to fire one of the Stinger missiles at him, and he gets the HGV. He gets the like Kenworth semi truck up on two wheels, so the missile passes underneath it.
It's silly, very silly.
Good.
This is the idiot's favorite Bond film to say it's so gritty and realistic about.
Yeah, because it ain't.
Do not check if I have ever said that. Do not own me. But
I feel like I might have said that earlier in the episode.
It is a stupid thing to believe because Bond makes a semi truck do a wheelie to drive through a bunch of fire.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Several different kinds of wheelie he pulls. He pulls all on one side. He pulls back. Fantastic. Just a bunch of Mexican truck drivers just get fucking obliterated.
Yeah, Pam is flying a small crop duster plane, like crop dusting people and like dropping bombs and shit on them.
Bunch of maggots.
Yeah.
It's precious maggot collection.
Fuck, is this maggot?
Oh, in the hair too, from above.
Come on.
Even worse. No.
Truly the fucking heyday of henchmen dying through bizarre means.
Yeah. So he runs Sanchez off the road. Sanchez kills Truman Lodge because he's like too paranoid now. But they fight for a bit. And then Sanchez has a machete on Bond. He's about to kill Bond. And Bond, they're both like soaked in gasoline at this point because the tankers are leaking. And Bond is like, don't you want to know why?
Sick as fuck. I want to come out ahead of this and go, this fucks.
And he pulls the Felix lighter and he incinerates Sanchez alive.
Oh
yeah. Vicious.
It's really graphic too.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. This is the shit, baby.
Yeah. So at this point, Pam shows up in like another stolen truck. Is like, get in, and Bond is on my shit of calling girls sir. It's cool. Yeah, it's good. It's good actually.
Yeah, it's real good.
It's real good. I highly recommend it. You should do it. So and then we get the sort of like aftermath scene, which is Lupe and Pam kind of like fight over Bond. Like Lupe tries to kiss him and like Pam sort of like runs away crying like the end of the prom.
She behaves like a little bit of a teenager in this scene.
Yeah, Bond instead rejects Lupe and sets her up with President for Life, Noriega, which is going to be fucking awkward when the CIA fucking deport him. She has Sanchez's pet iguana, which leads to the...
Don't you know? Iguana's our girl's best friend.
What? Very strange.
And
anyway,
then
the joke there, because this is an audio medium, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is that the iguana has a diamond necklace, and during that scene,
it's not
instead
a very
she's not
funny
patting,
joke.
she's not patting the iguana, she's swapping the diamonds onto her wrist.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But Bond has to get Pam back, which he does by like having set them up thusly. He jumps off the fucking balcony.
Yeah, into the pool.
And he pulls out a fucking Welsh flag parachute.
It
throws a bunch of maggots into her face.
He and they kiss. It has those kind of like curiously elegiac 80s vibes that I don't know how I can put my finger on. It's weird. It's like this kind of sensation that like, oh, none of these people knew what was going to happen with everything after this.
Yeah,
the Cold War ended just after this movie, and
this is like they don't know that this is like
they're at the end of history.
Yeah,
and you can kind of get that vibe.
Yeah, this is the end of fucking around, and we are about to enter the era of finding out.
That's right. 6 years later.
I hate it when I hear.
And you see why they needed 6 years to retool this shit, because this is the end point of Dawson. It's the end point of Cold War Bond. It's
Oh, no.
I don't know. It's almost like a soft reboot after this one. And it's really strange, and it's got this sort of like low lighting. It's at night, and it's like there's a real sort of like end of the party vibe.
Yeah, it ends on like a very wide still of them in the pool, but they're like off center. It feels like they didn't really have anything left. It's just like, well, I guess that's it. Goodbye, everybody. History's over.
That's history, baby.
Oh,
they didn't make another one of these for 6 years.
Slightly before this, Bond does call Felix, who is in hospital, having lost an arm, a leg, and a wife, and who is like, and Bond's like, "We got him, buddy," and Felix is like, "Yeah, fucking get it, dude. I'm happy now. I'm having a great time."
Felix is like, "Cheers, man. I didn't ask you to do this."
Dead. Yeah, my wife's still dead, by the way.
He's like, "I'm gonna come back in a few years, but I'll be black and you'll be Daniel Craig."
I have both legs.
Hey, remember that time I got mauled by a shark when I was the
Remember
same
that time
guy?
I lost my legs? Yeah, man, absolutely.
Remember when I was gay?
That's right. And it ends on like this nighttime wide shot over the credits of fake Panama City, and it's there's a little bit of like longing there. I don't know how to explain this one.
I guess they didn't know that history was ending.
Yeah, I think we're explaining this better than we did our vibe report at the end of
we're creeping up on the vibe. We're slowly getting to it.
Like they were at the end of history and they didn't know it,
and
you can tell.
Yeah, there's going to be a big gear change in between this and our next episode, which is going to be GoldenEye.
It's almost like they're just going, now what?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're about to find out what? Because it's the 1990s.
About to see...
I actually know exactly the music that you would be playing over this moment. I mean,
man-made horrors beyond your comprehension.
Yeah. Well, what is it?
No, I know. No, because you have a very specific music that you use in the background when things are getting a little bit creepy. And that's what I'm imagining now as we talk about
a very strange thing happened. The Soviet Union collapsed.
It did not end.
The greatest tragedies to befall human history. And also, all of it's like another weird thing about the 80s vibe. All of the luxury goods don't like, they look old, but also not, because all of those things are kind of like still around, but now they look old. Whereas like before this, those things are like antiques now. Whereas here, they're just older things. And you can kind of see like, you know, an Aston Martin or like a Cartier dress or whatever that are at the height of their luxury. And it feels, I don't know, I think we've seen a change in the way that we're going to think about the 80s, right? Now that we're in the 2020s, and now that we're really in it. Because there was a time when 80s nostalgia was like fun and harmless, right? And it was like, oh, I remember like boomboxes and the weird swirl pattern. And now the 1980s are starting to seem like the 1920s, where you're like, you guys have no idea.
You didn't know what was about to happen.
You spent your time on this. It's genuinely such a sort of like antebellum vibe, and I don't
enjoy yourself. It's later than you think.
And with that,
but much like the Soviet Union, we have a science-based system.
Yeah, it's called Marxism-Leninism.
Yeah, it's called Lysenkoism, and I'll kill you.
Yes, Lysenkoism. Breeding even more successful podcasts.
Number one Vavilov stan.
I fucking love Vavilov. I will defend him to the last. I mention him every time I'm talking about anything in class. I seriously found an excuse to bring him up multiple times.
So it's called the SCUM system. SMARM, cultural insensitivity, unprovoked violence, and misogyny. How do we feel this film rates in terms of SMARM? I think it's quite low.
No, I mean, all of it was done by Sanchez.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, unless there's one thing that combines SMARM and misogyny in this movie, which is...
Why can't you be my executive secretary?
Yeah, that is fucked.
That's a little bit of smart, just a little bit.
That's
Yeah. How do we feel about well, is it more or less than The Living Daylights?
Ooh, less.
Genuinely.
Yeah, Living Daylights was a 3.
This is a 2.
So did we?
Yeah,
how
2.
do we feel? 2.
I'm not
So
having a
that means
comment
Dalton is our least smarmy Bond.
That's true. That
so
fits.
far.
That checks out to me.
Now,
Cultural insensitivity.
Orientals dropped without
Well-
comment.
Let's go ahead and note that Bond has 0 jurisdiction over anything he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He is
Mhm.
operating a one-man revenge quest in Latin America.
Yep, that's true.
great.
Yeah.
That's true.
I feel like
the
the
ninjas?
vibes of Latin America, perhaps. The ninjas, yeah. I feel like Latin America isn't exactly portrayed with nuance.
No, perhaps not.
It's the cultural insensitivity in this seems more casual than
Yeah, it's
Hateful.
like more
But that's-
incidental.
All right, let me put this one out there.
yeah.
Latin Americans in this movie have exactly 2 modes. And it is either having a good time, a little bit of a party, doing a shaky hip thing, or killing people in the weirdest way you can imagine. And there is
Yeah.
literally no middle ground between these.
Yes, you're right.
That's true.
Either very chill or like weird
Entirely
murder.
not chill.
Yeah.
It's
I wanna
binary.
s-
Yeah,
I could
maybe
go higher.
I could even go lower.
Huh.
Because
Well,
there's
is it
not
more
that
or
much
less
culture.
than Living Daylights?
More.
Yeah.
Really?
No,
Because that
well,
was
yeah.
a 5.
I would say more because, as I said in the Living Daylights one, Bond himself is not that particularly. He's in Afghanistan, but he's not like saying any shit against the Afghan people. He's, if anything, quite complimentary towards them. He's just praising the Mujahideen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's not so much. He's a little bit more culturally insensitive here.
Okay.
Not by that much. I would actually put it on par. I think.
5, you think?
5?
Okay.
5?
I think,
Yeah.
frankly, it's a little high.
I think
but
it's a
I'm happy
low
to go with
5, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Could go 4.
Yeah.
Unprovoked violence, on the other hand.
In honor of this film, we should rename this one to Unlicensed Violence, and it's 10.
I think it is a 10. I think we got to hit a 10
I
here.
think whatever
Yeah?
we did for racism in Live and Let Die, this is for unprovoked violence.
I think we did. I think we might have gone to an 8 or a 9 there. So like,
Yeah.
It was a 9.
let's go
I'm
9
happy
for
to-
this then.
I was looking at the table
9.
now. It was a 9. Misogyny.
Let me pull that drop up again.
Why can't you be my executive secretary?
So
yeah.
little tiny bit. On the other hand, Pam is being portrayed as like a sort of capable field agent.
Another
She is?
one of the other reasons that this film is quoted as being not a Bond film is the fact that there is a strong female character, which is one of the main ones. Even on the
that's
IMDb,
true. I mean,
it's like it is a
Yes,
violent
true.
thriller with a strong female characterization. It's not a neat fit with the others, which is interesting.
yeah, it's cool that she talks back to Bond.
Mhm.
Where she's like, fuck you, like I'm a fucking army pilot, like get wrecked.
But also, he does get the girl in the end. Every woman finds him desirable. When their
Yes.
desires are thwarted, they act like children.
Yes, that's a fair point. I don't think I'd be willing to go lower than a 4, and I'm tempted to say higher. I mean, Living Daylights was a 5.
Yeah, we gotta go 5.
I could go 5
this
again.
Is par. Yeah,
Okay,
easily.
yeah, I'm happy to power it.
Yeah. That leaves us with a total score of 21, which is higher than the last one. It's about average for Bond. I mean, the most offensive one we've had is still Live and Let Die on 28.
Yep.
But so, he's about kind of in the middle, slightly higher than the middle.
Tracks,
So-
I think.
We
Yeah.
have 2 other things that we do.
Yeah, we
Of
have an
course.
emotion-based medal system.
Yes, we, much like you, if you have purchased them, have the Kronstein Rosette and the Goodnight Cross. The
Yes.
Kronstein Rosette, which goes to any villain who has gone above and beyond with very little, with no respect. It's an underappreciated villain that really fucking went for it. To which I would say genuinely, I think Dario. Because there's not that many named guys. I think Dario is the one. Yeah.
I think so.
That's
I think
true.
so. Although,
what about the accountant though?
Room and Lodge?
Because
what about the other guy whose name I don't remember, who is constantly the other guy whose name I don't remember, who tries to fire a Stinger missile at Bond in the truck. That's pretty above and beyond the Call of Duty, wouldn't you say? Like, everything's been blown up at this point. Just leave. But he just hangs out.
I don't remember that guy.
I remember his name. Sorry.
It is for dudes who are overlooked. So.
I mean, in the same spirit that we gave the hard hat villain in View to a Kill, he was dedicated to rules-based villainy. I want to nominate the accountant because he's we made a deal with the Chinese. We need to honor this. This is a fucking write-off. This is how we do our operation. He's the one who's actually invested in the villainous plan.
Who is Bond compared to Truman Lodge?
Ooh. Exactly. So what about the Goodnight Cross?
Sharky.
Goodnight Cross to Sharky. Goodnight Cross to Sharky. Sharky, man.
You're right.
Best of luck, Sharky.
F's in chat.
Sharky.
Let's get 07s going in chat for Sharky.
Memorable
character from License to Kill.
When the shark pops up and is who need they Sharky? Sharky is frightened, despite the fact that his name is Sharky, which.
Can't believe his name is Sharky.
You gotta take the name away, man, if you're gonna react like that.
Fucked up.
So what are we doing next time, Alice?
We are radically reimagining Bond for a post-Cold War world. New year, new me. New Pierce Brosnan Bond in GoldenEye.
The game.
Yeah, like the game, like the video game.
They made it into a film.
Like the video game GoldenEye.
They made the game into a film.
We are entering a new decade.
That's right.
The 1990s.
That's
90s.
Right. Modernity creeps ever closer.
We're in that weird zone where we are entering the modern world, but neither 9/11 nor the financial crash have happened just yet. So just for this little bit of time, a lot of people are well, maybe everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Thank you for listening.
Only to say thank you. We have a Patreon if you want to go there.
Yeah.
We should do that because we watched a fucking banger of a movie for the bonus feed that comes out next.
Spy Kids 2.
So you should listen to that.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah, baby.
All right, we will see you with Pierce Brosnan when James Bond will return.
Max! What's this film called again?
Thank you for listening to this very special audio nightmare of a podcast. I edited this one because our dear friend and producer Nate was taking some time off for a well-deserved break. Kill James Bond will return in 2 weeks' time to discuss GoldenEye. That's right, we're skipping 6 years ahead, and we've brought our dear friend Matty Lubchansky on to have a chat with us regarding the first attempt to reboot the Bond series with Pierce Brosnan. But if 2 weeks is simply too long for you to wait and you want more content, more Kill James Bond, more guests, you can head on down to patreon.com/killjamesbond, and next week we'll be posting our episode on the movie Spy Kids 2 with special guest Tom Walker, brackets Australian. Speaking, of course, of our patrons, we would be nothing without the support of our £15 and above patrons, and those are Hawks Winchester, Jack Holmes, Paint McCullough, George Rohack, Thomas Oberhart, Amanda Rogder, Sol, Sean Connery, brackets, Alec Baldwin, close brackets, Nikki, Carolyn Tankersley, Benno Rice, Jay Martindale, Amber de Grazia, Pete Snorrison, Field Commissar Jan, Jack Bushell, Mothman, Big Titty Goth Girl, Tarp O, Trip, Timothy Pajorni, Holiday, Larry Kins, Kit Devine, Sydney Steckel, Kentucky Fried Commie, Max Gamenhart, Zoe Shepherd, Elizabeth Cox, Alfredo, Jonas Schwamberger, Raoul Leal, David Wickrameratner, Richard Drum, James Knappman, Rob Morgan, Kinu92, Josh Simmons, Millie, and Avery Darling. Thank you from the absolute bottom of my heart. This has been Kill James Bond, starring Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producer this week was Devon, but typically it's Nate Bethay, and our podcast art by Matty Lubchansky. Our website is by Tom Allen. See ya.